I would like to talk about how to evaluate functions given values of the domain. A lot of times students struggle with math language. The instructions might actually say evaluate the function given values of x. And notice here it says domain is the x values, the range is the y values. So try to get that language in your mind. When you see domain, automatically think x. So domain is the x values. Next thing I want to talk about is when you see fancy notation like this, f of x, g of x, h of x, etc. All of these stand for function notation. It's just a way to represent a function. When you put in a value for x, it calculates and gives you a value back for y. That's why it's called a function. I'm sure you've seen function machines when you were first introduced to learning about functions. They have really neat videos out there on YouTube where you can see function machines happen. Another thing I want to remind you, and I think I have another word over here, all, yes, all of these stand for y. F of x, that's y. G of x, that's y. H of x, that's y. Now, I had a discussion with one of my classes one time about why can all of these be y, or how can all of these be y? Well, there's more than one machine in the world, so there's more than one function in the world. So this is y, this is y, this is y. I have written here an example to show you f of x equals 2x plus 3 is the same thing as y equals 2x plus 3. It can be written either way. And a lot of times when you're first introduced to linear equations, you see it written this way. Oftentimes in Algebra 1, you'll see it written this way. So both of these are the same thing. Now, this next notation is a little rough for some students to remember. I want you to remember, let me move this. When you see f of 3, remember f of x. So x is 3. The translation of this is actually f of 3 means to find the value of y when x is 3. So f of 3 is still y when x is 3. Okay, so here's some notation here at the bottom. It says evaluate each function. Evaluate, I want to give you a big clue. Most of the time when you see the word evaluate, that means to substitute to find your answer. So that's what we're going to be doing here. We're going to substitute to find the answers. For each of these 4 problems, I'm going to substitute the given values of x into that function. I did not leave myself enough space, so I had to get myself another piece of paper. So I'm going to put that over here. I'm going to find the values of y. I'm going to evaluate to find y when x is -4, 0, and 2. I like to make a table. So you've got your x values of -4, 0, and 2. And then you've got your function f of x equals 3x. And then we're going to find the y values, which these are my answers here. We're going to find the y values that I get as a result of substituting those in. I probably should have left space again. Okay, so if I do f of -4, that would be 3 times -4. And since I don't have anything to add, I can just go ahead and put the answer. 3 times -4 is -12. Okay, now I need to know what the solution is when I substitute 0 in. F of 0 is 3 times 0, and I do expect to see this kind of work for my students. 3 times 0, I'm sure all your math students, math teachers would like to see that. 3 times 0 is 0. And then substitute 2 in, f of 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So it says evaluate each function when x equals -4, 0, and 2. So y is negative 12. When x is negative 4, y is, what did I get, 0. When x is 0, this would be a good way to write your answer. And then y is 2. Oh, no, y is 6. So glad I grabbed a pencil. When x is 2. Now you can write your answers this way, or you could make this table and just circle these answers. These are the answers to what this was asking me to do. Okay, let me do the next one. I'm going to leave myself just a little bit of space. No. 9 minus 3x, and then the y. Okay, so I'm going to have negative 4 first. I'm not going to put 0 in it yet. Okay, so I'm going to have k of negative 4 equals 9 minus 3 times negative 4. K of negative 4, I just usually keep that with what I'm doing. Y is going to equal, and then I'm going to do order of operations. I have subtraction and multiplication. What should I do first? PEMDAS tells me that I should multiply first. So I have 9. What's negative 3 times negative 4? That's positive 12. I have 9 plus 12, and 9 plus 12 is 21. So K of negative 4 is 21. You do not divide by negative 4. This is not like an equation. This and this are not similar. You do not solve them the same way. This one you would divide by negative 4. This one just says when x is negative 4, y is 21. Okay, let's put 0 in there. K of 0 equals 9 minus 3 times 0. K of 0 equals 9 minus 0, because I multiply first. And then 9 minus 0 is 9. And then I have to substitute 2 in. K of 2 equals 9 minus 3 times 2. And I'm just going back to this formula that's up here that was given to me and substituting this value into that formula and then doing order of operations. K of 2 equals 9 minus 6, and then 9 minus 6 is 3. So K of 2 is 3. You could circle these and say these are your answers, or you could go back and put those answers here. Y is 21 when x is negative 4. Y is 9 when x is 0. And then y is 3 when x is 2. Okay, on to number 3. H of x equals 3 minus 0.5x. So h of x is 3 minus 0.5x. Okay, so that's going to be in the middle of my table. Okay, negative 4. Now, I want you to try to think about decimals as fractions, because believe it or not, many times it is easier to think about it as a fraction. Most students wouldn't agree, but I'll teach you that it really is. When you look here, 0.5 is 1/2. So I have 3 minus 1/2 times negative 4. Okay, with my order of operations, I'm going to multiply first. First, I'm going to say a negative times a negative. I know I'm going to have a positive down here. And then what's half of 4? Half of 4 is 2. So I have positive 3 plus 2, which is 5. Oh, I didn't put my x and my y. So h of negative 4 is 5. And then I'm going to put 0 in. Of course, it's easy to multiply anything by 0. Negative 1/2 times 0 is still 0, and 3 minus 0 is still 3. So 3, or is 3. 3 goes here. Next, I'm going to put positive 2 in, see if I can squeeze it. So positive 2 goes here. H of 2 equals 3 minus 1/2 times 2. Okay, so I'm going to have h of 2 equals, bring my 3 over, a negative times a positive is a negative. 1/2 of 2 is 1. So h of 2 is going to be 3 minus 1 is 2. So I have y equals 5 when x is negative 4. Y equals 3 when x equals 0. And y equals 2 when x is 2. So there's the answer to number 3. One more to go. Oh, that one looks strange. Negative 8 and positive 11. Okay. I think I could go ahead and combine those. I would make sure to think about that before you get started. I'll help you with your thinking. Negative 8 plus 11 is 3 minus 10x. Okay, so now I'm going to substitute negative 4 in, 0 in, and 2. And I can't remember my function was w of x equals 3 minus 10x. All right, so let's get substituting. Substitute negative 4 in. A negative times a negative is a positive. So that's going to be 3 plus 40. So 43. Substitute 0 in. Anything times 0 is 0. So 3 minus 0 is 3. And substitute 2 in. 3 minus 10 times 2. So I'm going to have w of 2 equals 3 minus 20. And that is negative 17. So my final answers for this video. Y is 43 when x is negative 4. Y is 0 when x is, y is 3. Sorry about not erasing that. Y is 3 when x is 0. And y, I want that to look like a negative. Y is negative 17 when x equals 2. Be sure to include your work no matter how you do it. Don't just put this type of answer. Be sure to include this kind of work so that your teacher can see that you understand what you're doing.